So take your comfortable seat. Find that anchoring place. Close your eyes. And let your arms get heavy. See if you can soften the area around your neck and shoulders. And you might even notice what you're doing with your head. Maybe tip it a little bit. See if it's kind of balancing right on top of the spine. Let the exhale move down into the belly. So the inhale expands and the exhale contracts just ever so slightly to bring your awareness inward. Take this time, this precious time that we have, just for us, just for ourselves. So what is it that you need this morning? Let the class be exactly what it is you need. You might need more energy. You might need more nourishment. You might need to work out some kinks. You might need to get a little stronger. You might need all of those things. Bring your awareness to what it is you need and let the class be exactly that. Take a nice deep breath. And as you exhale, go ahead and release your release your hands. I didn't have you bring your hands up. Release your eyes. And we'll start standing on the mat. Start in Tadasana. Make sure you have your weights near you. And as I always do, I have my notes with me, but I'm to this point now where I can't hardly see them without my glasses. Silliness getting older. Those eyes. I heard a really great thing though. And you might agree with this. A woman was talking, it was a doctor, and she was, she's an Ayurvedic doctor, but she's also a medical doctor. And she was talking about the most happiest demographic in humans, and this is across the world, this isn't just in the United States, are women over 60, which I found to be fascinating. And she went through this whole dialogue about why. And it made me really think about that. Like, think about when we're teenagers and all the things we're struggling with, and when we're young adults and what we're struggling with. And maybe now there's health issues that we're struggling with, but aside from that, we have a different viewpoint on things. So I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. Lift your toes, spread your toes, put your toes back down, grip the mat with your toes. And when you do that action, the lift, the spreading, and the gripping, can you feel the energy come up your legs? Turn your palms forward, shoulders rest down the back body, feel the collarbones and the heart more expansive, tailbone heavy, and you take the tailbone down and feel your lower core engage. So from the inside, we're working. Okay, from the inside, spread all your fingers. Good. Inhale, bring your arms up over your head, palms are going to come together, and then exhale, twisting towards one side. And just look back behind you, keep gripping the mat with your toes. Inhale, go up, exhale, twist the other way. And notice how easy it is to come away from that foundation of your legs. Inhale, come up, and then sit down in a little chair just for a moment, not too hard. Just come get in your legs. Again, keep gripping the toes into the mat. Feel the lift of your inner arches. Thumbs are on your breastbones, going to help lift your breastbone. Good. Inhale, come up. This time, let's laterally bend, dropping your right arm, lean over to the right. So you think about reaching to the floor and reaching up towards the sky. Inhale, come up. Exhale, other side. Just starting to move the spine around. Starting to feel and sense into your body. Inhale, both arms come up, and exhale, chair again. Sitting back into your hips. Lift your toes this time and shift your weight back, and then see if you can grip the toes and keep that. A little bit different. From here, hands are going to stay here. I want you to stay in your chair. You're going to inhale, open the arms, and then exhale, bring them back in. So inhale and exhale, and inhale. And as we go through this, I want you to think about not moving your body, keeping your arms the only thing that are moving, squeezing the shoulder blades as your arms go backward. Can you feel that motion? This is called prana mudra, this opening and closing of the arms, bringing prana, life force, to the heart center. Last time, hold here. Think about your arms moving backwards. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Good. Inhale, stand all the way up. And then exhale, release all the way down. Take your heels off the floor as your arms come about halfway up, palms to the sky. And just notice if you can balance. Can you find your balance? When you inhale, bring your arms up and your heels down. When you exhale, bring your arms down and your heels up. Down and up. Just really trying to get into your legs here. Can you feel and sense the leg, the stability? You can take your time. You can hang out in the balance for a bit. Inhaling, and last time, exhaling. Terrific. Now I'm just going to turn, put your feet on the floor. You're just going to step back on your ball of your foot and then step back together. Step to the ball of your foot and back together. And find some kind of range that you feel stable in. All right. And then the arms are going to come forward and then they're going to come down. Forward and down. Last two, just getting in your legs. Again, last one. And now step back in, excuse me, stay there. Turn your palms to the sky, shoulders come onto your back body. See if you can raise your arms with your palms facing backward. Now my back leg is nice and strong here. I'm going to exhale, bring my arms back and around and lean forward. Inhale, bring my arms up and come to the standing position. Now I'm challenging your balance again. So finding that place where you feel like, oh, I can move my upper body around because my legs are really stable and strong. Last time. Inhale up. Now bring your elbows in your back pockets. Think about that prana mudra again, where the chest is open. And then exhale, release. Bring your arms down and step together. Other side, steps forward, arms are out in front of you, shoulders on your back. Gently lifting the hands, trying to keep the palms facing backward. That's the challenge. And then release and come forward. And then come up. And then come forward. We're just warming up, getting into your body, feeling and sensing anything that's present. Last time, stay up and bring your elbows in your back pockets. Think prana mudra, opening the chest. Belly in, back leg nice and lifted. Good. And then exhale, hands down, pause. Now just stand here for a minute with your eyes closed. And just scan yourself. How do you feel? I had some body work yesterday, so I'm actually feeling pretty good. Be surprised at how wonky your body feels. Susie said it earlier, you know, she hasn't been sleeping. She's been worried about her dogs. So the stability of the sacrum goes out almost immediately when we're dealing with these kinds of things. And then that sets the stage for all kinds of other things to happen. Good. And then go ahead and open your eyes and let's pick up your weights. Light weights. Light weights. So playing with that, stepping back again, I'm going to put a weight in each hand. Palms are going to face forward. So as you step back, take your hands to a curl and then press your arms up overhead. Bring it back to the curl and then come back into center. Curl, press, curl, center. And you're just moving back and forth like we were doing a little bit ago. But now I just added these arms. Step, push, in, together. Step, push, in, together. So we're just playing. Whoop. This is a warm-up move here. Last 2. Up, down, and together. Last 1. Up, down, and together. Bring your feet all the way together so they touch. And your knees are going to bend, and you're going to come into your chair pose. Palms face the wall behind you. Roll your shoulders on your back. Now think about all the pieces we worked with. Grip the toes, squeeze the legs, lift the belly, hearts open. We're going to stay here. We're going to swing the arms forward so that we're in that position we were in before. And then come back. Now bend the elbows. And press. Do it again. Forward arms, back, bend, and press. Forward, bend. Good. And so we're working with shoulders when the arms come forward, and then triceps and rear shoulders when they're back here. It's a nice movement. You'll notice that your body might move just slightly, but you're still trying to stay in those legs. They're not really moving. In and press. Forward, back, in, and press. Let's do 2 more. And back, in, and press. Last one. And then I want you to bring your weights to your chest. Hold them right by your body. And lift off your right heel. And get all the weight in your left leg. See if you can step back and keep the leg in the front working mostly. And then come back to center. Lift your other leg, heel. See if you can balance. Don't move the leg, and then step back like a light tap. And then center. Good. Stand all the way up. Take a moment. So keeping your weights together, you can hold them as one or hold them separately and keep them together. You're going to take a step out to the side, bend the knee and come down to the knee. Come back to your chest and come back to the center. So we're going to stay alternating. So left, knee, chest, center. Now put it together. Down and up. Down and up. Notice I'm not going all the way down yet. I want you to get your hips warmed up in this way. And you can stay right here. Back. I want your spine to stay long. All right. One more time each side. Now we're going to stay on one side here. So let's take this leg out to the side. This time, see if you can come down toward the floor. Notice where you are and what your spine's doing. We're going to stay on this side. We're going to come up and we're going to go back down. And we're going to come up and we're going to go back down. These are side lunges. You're familiar with forward lunges. Backward lunges, these are side lunges. So you're working on that deep inner leg, hip socket, straight, up. One more time, down, and then step together, change sides, take a big wide step, toes are forward, and come down to the inside of your leg. Notice if your head is below your hips. Try not to do that. Come back up, down, back up, down. So my knee is tracking straight forward, right over my foot. And I'm working in my glute, my inner leg. I'm not working in my spine. Down and up. Last one. Down and up. Good. Bring your feet back together. Stand tall. Taking the feet, let's keep the feet wide. Toes are slightly turned out, and bring your hands across your body like you're giving yourself a little hug. Now find a squat that you can hang out in. Now it might just be a little baby bend in the knee today. That's all. Don't worry about where it is right now. Open, up. It's one of my favorite moves for the shoulder. Open, up. Crisscross your arms the opposite way. Open, reach. Good. Tailbone's heavy. Belly's engaged. Can you find your pelvic floor? Now you can start to move this up and down. Hold here and up and down. Hold and cross. Up and down, cross. Good. Are you still gripping the toes? Are you still using that part of your foot? You'd be surprised at how much more energy, how much more muscle gets involved when you are using your toes properly. Crisscross. Let's do one more. Don't worry about how low you are. Up. Good. And then release down. Bring your feet to square. Shake your legs out a little bit, and let's put your weights down on the floor. And come to the top of your mat. Come to the top of your mat. Inhale, rise. Bend your knees into that chair pose here. Now think about your toes. If you lift your toes, you'll shift your weight back, right? Keep your weight back there and then try to grip the toes instead. Inhale, arms open. Feel the energy of the heart, and then see, can you bring your arms over your head? That's a maybe. Take a breath here. Exhale, fold forward, and then straighten your legs one at a time. This is our first forward fold. So go ahead and take your time here. You can separate your feet if that's more comfortable. Just do one leg at a time. Switching sides, kind of moving back and forth. Susie, if your sacrum's really bothering you, you can come up on your forearms here or put your hands on blocks so you're not all the way over. Good. And then taking your left leg back, let's go into that high lunge here. All right, so just taking a moment. You're going to come up off the floor. So inhale, bring your hands up and think about that prana mudra again. And let's bring the arms up over your head. Hook your thumbs and try to pull your thumbs apart. That gets your legs, I'm sorry, not your legs, your arms engaged and drops into your shoulders. Lift your belly. See if you can lift and look up slightly. Working on balance here now. On your exhale, take your, if your left leg is back, take your right arm forward and your left arm backward. So you're in a kind of an open warrior stance. And then come up. And then take your left arm forward and your right arm back. And now you're in a reverse. Think about your hand, your back hand, pulling you backward so you're not leaning too far forward. Good. One more breath. Inhale, arms up. Now as you exhale, fold forward and take your back foot and hook it behind your front foot. So you crisscrossed. And then come up again. Inhale. Get your hands over your head. See if you can interlace your fingers. Point your index fingers upward. And then squeeze your legs together, leaning over to the left. Again, working on balance. Can you feel your toes? Inhale, come up. And exhale over to the right. Keep your arms right next to your head. Good. Inhale, come up. And then exhale. Come back down, soften your knees a little bit, and your hands can be on the floor or up on blocks. Take your back leg and lift it up so it's halfway. Now I'm keeping my front leg bent because I know that's better for my back. And I just had body work, so I'm going to do it that way. Keep your spine level. You're holding your back foot in the air, toes are down. Good. As you exhale, bring your foot right next to your front foot. Sitting down in a chair, bring your arms forward. I gotta move this plant. Take your shoulders on your back and then see, can you rise up? Exhale, lower down. Inhale, rise up. Keep the legs. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, rise up. Last time, exhale, stand all the way up. Look up, squeeze your glutes, and then exhale, fold back down. Again, hands can be on blocks or on the floor. Take a breath here. And then you're going to stretch your right leg back. So you want to be on the other side. Keep this back heel lifted and come off the floor. Woo. And then reach your arms up over your head. Can you interlace hook your thumbs and pull? Like you're trying to pull your hands apart. Can you feel the energy of the arms moving into the back body? If you've got your back leg engaged, your glutes are really active. Good. Unhook your thumbs, take your left arm forward and your right arm back. So you're in an open twist. Good. Inhale up. And then take your right arm forward and your left arm back in more of a revolved twist. Breathing. Inhaling up. And then exhaling, folding forward. Bring your back leg to your front leg. Crisscross. Keep your knees slightly bent and then come all the way up. Again, hook your hands, point your index fingers, and this time let's lean to the right first, keeping your arms right next to your head. Inhaling, coming up, and let's go to the left. Keep squeezing your legs together. And then inhaling, coming up, float back down, fingers on the blocks or on the floor, pick up your back leg and lift it halfway up. Again, the most important thing is that your pelvis is neutral and you're not lifting this leg up. That's why I want your toes down. Take one more breath here and then anchor your hands on something. You're going to step back into plank. So find your plank, your first plank of the day. All right. Thinking about where your fingers are and how your fingers are working to help you with your plank. Your plank can be on your knees this first round. Take a breath here. And then as you exhale, lower and then rest back. Keep your arms extended. Hips go back towards the wall behind you. Keep pressing into your fingertips. Take a moment to breathe. Gotta get my clock. I don't know what time it is. Halfway. Alrighty, so come on up into tabletop. And I'd like you to use blocks if you have 2 blocks. Do you guys each have 2 blocks? If you have 2 blocks, let's use them. If not, don't use them at all. You're going to put them underneath your hands. So you're in this higher tabletop position. Okay? And then let's start with your right leg back, and I want you to keep the foot on the floor, and you're going to move your left block inward so that your hand is free to get near the floor. And I want you to pick up your weights, and ideally you'd have 2 weights in your hand because this is a fairly strong motion, but you could try one. And you're going to do a rowing action. So this action looks like this. You're going to row elbow into your body and then back to the floor. Row and back to the floor. Now that's, well, I'm going to call that layer 1. And if you want to try the next layer, you lift the straight leg up when you row and you put it back down when you lower. You lift and you lower. Exhale, belly in, releasing slow. Slow gets it juicy in there, helps to work all those muscles of the back body that we typically don't use. And up and down. Let's do one more. So lifting the leg just adds another dynamic. And down. Good. Now before we go to the other side, separate your blocks again and just lean back like we did the first time. Put your hands around the blocks. And just notice anything in your back or maybe in your shoulders. And then we're going to go the other way. So bring yourself back up again. Move the other block out of the way so your hand and your weight can be to the floor. And then take your opposite leg back. We're working on a diagonal pattern in the back body, which is really, really healthy and healing for the spine. So with your weights, without your foot first, lift, pull your elbow into your ribs and behind you, and then down. You want to make sure your shoulder stays in and down and not up by your ear. If you're ready, you can lift the leg too and down. You might notice that you don't go very far off the floor. I'm noticing that a lot with this side. The other side felt more fluid. And up and down, nice and slow. And up
and down. And down. And up. And down, last one. And up. And down. Okay, move the weights out of the way. Separate the blocks again. And lean back. So we come into that neutral position every time. Keeping your neck in nice long space. And then inhale, coming forward, you're going to keep both hands on the blocks. Now, if you have squishy blocks, make sure the heel of your hand is somewhere near the edge of the block so it won't kind of collapse in the middle. Turn your toes under, lift your knees for a hoverboard. We're hovering. Good. Take a breath here and then lower back down. Shoulders on your back, belly lifts, hover. Good. And lower back down. Let's do one more. Exhale, belly lifts, and then hover. Breathing. And see, can you go to a full plank from here? Just move your legs into that full plank position. Squeeze and breathe, keeping your pelvis lifted. Not in downward facing dog, but in a way so that it's not dragging to the floor. And if your hands feel good in this position, soften your knees and move back to downward facing. If you need to take your hands off the blocks, go ahead. The blocks help you to really push into something so you get more arm movement. The knees bent help you to keep your spine long. And then if you can, want to, one heel at a time. Go slow with that. You don't need to go into a race, a downward dog race. I have a lady that's in one of my classes in person now. And she's just funny as all get out. Every single time she gets to downward facing dog, she's like pedaling her heels so fast. Her hips wiggle all over the place. She looks like she's going to fall over. And as many times as I correct her, she just goes right back to it. It's almost like she can't stop herself. Good. Lower yourself back down. All righty. Take a moment off your blocks. Move them out of the way. All right, from here, we want to make our way back up to the standing position. So curl your toes under and then roll back on your feet. Keep your knees together and then see if you can unfurl yourself so that you're towards the back of your mat. Take a breath here. Inhale, come halfway up and lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold down, soften your knees if you need to. And then inhale, come all the way to standing. Bring your palms up over your head. And then hands to heart, pause, and take a moment. All righty, a little bit more standing and then we'll get down on the floor and stay there. I want you to pick up your weights if you're using them, and I want you to put two in one hand. We're going to mimic one of the movements that we were doing in the beginning. All righty. So in the beginning, we were stepping back and I was moving the arms around. And we're going to stay on one side. So let's just go to the right leg back first. And you might need to walk your left foot out slightly to keep your balance. This front knee is going to stay nice and steady. And then right leg, right arm are going to do all the work. All right, so it's shoulder, press overhead, shoulder, and down. That's for the arms. All right, it should be harder than the first time. And then the next time, if you want, and this is your choice, when your hand goes down, your knee's going to bend. And come back up, press, in, bend. And again, you don't have to. I'm not going all the way down. I'm trying to honor the body work that my massage lady did. You know, she's like, please don't go and screw everything up that I just got all straightened around. Up, push, in, and down. Last one. Up, push, in, and down. Now come up to center. Bring your weights to your chest. Hold them there. Lean into your front leg and see if you can pick up this back leg. Now, if both knees are bent, I like to call this Funky Warrior 3. If you want to work this a little bit, and you can straighten your legs slowly. As long as you can keep your pelvis level, your toes of the back leg down, you're doing a great job. Bring your back leg to your front leg and stand. Shake your legs out a little. That's a lot on that front leg. And then we'll work on the other side. So left leg goes back. Find your balance point. And then both weights go in the other hand. So shoulders are open. Hands straight down underneath your shoulder. Front knee right over front ankle. Come up. Push overhead. Come down and release. Try to imagine that your arm goes straight up and straight down and your elbow doesn't really wing out to the side much. All right. Next time you're going to put your knee toward the floor if you haven't done so already. Push in, down, up. Keep your leg really active while you're holding it up here, and then it'll release when you get down there. Squeeze, I want you to feel your glutes engage. Down, up, push, down. Nice, even energy, nice, even breathing. Try to breathe through your nose. Remember, if you breathe through your mouth all the time, your body thinks it's in fight or flight mode. Doing that for short periods is not a bad thing, but doing it over time sure is. All right, hold at the center. Bring yourself forward, shifting your weight into your front leg, pick up your back leg. Remember, check your spine, and then see if you can slowly start to straighten both legs. And keep thinking about the heart moving forward, breathing. And then bring your back leg to your front leg and stand. Oh my goodness. Take your weights and put them on the floor. And we're going to make our way back down again. So take your arms behind you this time. Draw the hands down, lift the heart. Breathe here. Use your toes, use your legs. Find your core. Can you stabilize yourself from the inside out? And then from here, bend knees, come halfway down. See if you can bring your body parallel to the floor with your arms still engaged. And then if you have the freedom, you can lift your arms and drop your head. And if you have the freedom, you could maybe straighten a leg and then straighten the other leg one at a time. Try not to do both of them. Even if you can, it tends to put a lot of torque on your sacrum. One more time. And then release your hands to the mat. Plant your hands down and go back to plank pose. Breathing is a good thing. So from here, we're going to take ourselves knees to the mat. You're going to go back to that table position. We're going to play a little bit here. So I want you to pick your knees up into that hover and turn your body so that your knees face one direction. Let's say your knees go to the left and you're going to land down on your right hip. Right hip. And then take your left hand off the floor and adjust this right hand so that it's lined up with your right hip. And notice how I've got my hand away from me. I don't have it tucked in. This top leg, you're going to lift it up and you're going to put it in front of the bottom leg. So my foot's flat on the floor. Bottom leg is bent, but not as much as it was. Straighten it just a little so you can make this happen. And then here's the action. You're going to lift your hips up and straighten this bottom leg. So it looks like this. Push and straighten. So my bottom leg is straight now. My top leg is where it is. And my arm, shoulders right over my wrist. Come back down. And maybe that's not going to happen for you today. Maybe you're going to try it on your forearm. You can do this exact same thing on your forearm. You just have to make sure not to do what I just did. I had my elbow too close to me so that when I push up, my elbow's not in front, my elbow's not behind my shoulder. All right? Do one more, either on your forearm or on your hand. This is half Vastisthasana. It's a balancing pose. Open your top arm, open your chest. Breathing is a good thing. Exhale, hand comes back to the mat and pivot yourself back into your plank pose. Finding plank pose. And then we'll play on the other side. So bring the knees to the mat. Hands are on the floor like a tabletop. Hover your knees. Twist your knees to the right and put your left hip down. And then take your right hand away and line yourself up. Take your top leg and come up and over this bottom leg. And in order to make that happen, this bottom leg has to move away a little bit. Now here's your action. Press into your outer foot to straighten your leg and bring yourself up. So you're in that half plank pose or side plank pose. Come back down. Remember, you can do it on your wrist, on your forearm. Try it again, push. So we're trying to do 2 or 3. Make sure we have a really good form, really solid, and back down, bend the knee. And last time, push, lift, maybe the hand comes up. You guys rock star. Push down into your bent foot. Push, lift, lower the hand. Make your way back to plank pose. Was that fun? And then from here, bend your knees, find downward facing dog again. Find downward facing dog again. All right, slowly make yourself come down. And we're gonna sit on our bodies, on our bottoms. And we're gonna play around a little bit with this movement pattern that I like to call zigzag. So you're gonna lean back on your hands, your feet are gonna be wide apart, and you're just gonna let your knees go from one side to the other. All right, just see what your legs wanna do. This is internal, external rotation of the hip socket, so it might feel a little bit tight. If it does, bring your feet closer together. You can do it with your feet apart, do it. All righty. Now I want you to see, can you sit up and not touch your hands? You can put your hands together. You can keep them apart. Let's see, can you go up and over? And up and over? And up and over. Are you crawling along on your mat? That's what happens. And crawl. Now this next one is harder. You're going to come around. And I want you to take this back foot and point it so you're not on the side of your foot. Without your hands, can you bring yourself up? And then bring yourself back down. Flex your foot, come back around to the other side. Point this back foot and see if you can come up. What? And down. And around. Don't forget to point the back foot, that's important. And down. So what are we doing? We're working this core, hips, glutes in this really bizarre way. We're gonna do one more variation. So bring yourself up. Can you do that part? Now take this back leg and step it way forward and lean. So I'm in this deep lungy action. Good. And then come back. Bring that back leg where it was. No hands, please. Whoop. And land. Come around. Point your back foot. Push your hips up. Then see, can you slide this one forward and lean. So I'm on a diagonal. I'm working deep in my inner legs. Come back. Bring your footwork because that's the hard part. And then sit. All right, enough of that crazy. Bring your feet together. Holding your feet or your ankles. I want you to sit up in a way that you can straighten your arms and push your back backward. So you've got some resistance. For me, because I'm short-waisted, I can hold my feet. You might have to hold your ankles. I don't want you to pull. I want you to push your back backward so that you're sitting up on your sit bones and your spine's really long and straight. All right, this is a counter move to all the crazy we just did. Drop your chin down and breathe. I haven't done that one in a long time. And if you don't do movements like that are really different, your body just forgets. And then you start to get a smaller and smaller box that you live in. I know quite a few people that are in that situation right now. And it's kind of astounding, actually, how quickly our bodies will forget. We have to remind them all the time. And then slow and careful release. Knees up. Another balance, sacral balance movement is to leave your legs out in front of you. And I want you to take your hands next to you, palms right by your hips, fingers sideways, and push down so that your spine feels like it's really elongating and the lower back is actually moving inward. And then press into your heels so you feel your legs engage. Okay, so from here, see if you can keep all of that. Take your arms out to the side, turn your palms up. If you fell over backwards or you started to lean back, put your hands back down on the floor. All right, and then from here, bring your arms out in front of you, hook your shoulders into your body and start to lean backward. And find an edge that you can hang out in. So it could be just a couple inches back, it could be quite a ways back. Your feet are still on the floor here. And what I want you to do is just lift one foot and lower it, and the other foot and lower it. About to that level of your eyes. So if you're up a little higher, your leg's going to go a little higher. Working the core front body now, keeping everything engaged. Last two. And last one. Good. Feet stay on the floor while you roll carefully to the floor. Try not to fall. Reach your arms up over your head and grab your elbows. Once you grab your elbows, I want you to think about stretching your elbows a little bit more away from your body. So you could kind of wiggle a little bit if you want. Stretch your heels more. Feel and sense the length of your body. Keeping your feet exactly as they are, wiggle your head and your shoulders to the right side of your mat. And lift up and breathe into the left side of your body. And then come around to center. And then see if you can go the other way. Wiggle to the left, keep your legs really active, and reach up through the right side now. Reach long. Good, and then come back to center. And let go of your arms, bring them down by your body, and lift your knees up and give your legs a little hug. Most of us like to rock a little bit, and that's fine. You don't need to pull hard. Just pause. Stillness. All right, from here, let your legs come back down and crisscross your right ankle over your left knee. Take your arms open. If you can do cactus arms, do them. And you're going to rock over to the right, letting yourself go all the way over as much as you can. And then come up and over and go all the way to your left. Maybe the foot touches the floor, maybe it doesn't. And then come all the way up and then lift your legs towards you and bring your hands down so you can hold on to something. Now I like to hold my shin. I can also easily hold my underside thigh. Both of those positions allow my pelvis to feel light. And I want you to rock a little bit on your sacrum. Go towards your tailbone and notice the lightness in your lower back. That's where I want you to stay. And then see, can you pull your legs closer to you without sacrificing that? Breathe. And then putting your left leg down, stretch your right leg up to the sky. Really engage this hamstring by putting your hands behind your thigh and pushing your leg into your hands. Breathe and flex your foot backward towards your toes or towards your nose. See if you can stretch apart your toes. And slide your left leg all the way down. Keep pushing the leg into the hand, and you can stay right here, or you can slide your hand up, lift your head and shoulders up so you're a little bit higher. Keep your knees straight, and then lift your bottom leg off the floor a little bit. If you're with me, we're going to switch these legs 5 times. So 1, 2, notice I'm not moving my body, 3, 4, and 5. You should be on the other leg, and then release and come all the way down. So let's do all that on the other side. Crisscross left ankle. Arms are in cactus or a T shape, whichever you can do. And let your legs go over to the left, keeping the shape of your legs. And then inhaling, coming up. And go the other way. See, will your foot come to the floor? That's a maybe. And then all the way up. And pick your right foot up off the floor and hold something here with your hands, either your shin or your thigh, whatever you like here. And remember, shoulders are down. Lower back space is light. The weight of your legs is more toward your tailbone, not towards your chest. And then if you can hold your spine in neutral, start to pull the legs a little, and you'll get a really healthy stretch in your hip. I told a class last week, I know 3 people, they're all about my age, they're a couple years older than I am, that either are getting hip replacements or have to get a hip replacement. 3 women, and they're always women. Almost never do you hear about men. Go ahead and lower your right leg and stretch your left leg straight up and hold this leg now. And I find that to be so interesting. I've been on my soapbox lately about all the research and all the things that we do. I don't care if it's eating, intermittent fasting, exercising, it doesn't even matter. All the research is always done on men. And so the women have been using this model. Oh, research says, la, 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 la. Science says, this study says, and they're almost always on men. And so I think that we've really kind of beat ourselves up a lot in lots of different ways that doesn't really serve us. Slide your hand up along your leg if you want to join me with this one, and stretch the other leg down. Try really hard not to go so high that you bend your knee. Be really honest with yourself. Straighten both legs if you're with me. Bottom leg's off the floor. Try not to hold anything in your neck, and we'll switch the legs 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Both knees to chest, head comes down. Soften your jaw, soften your throat. And then allow the feet to land. Pick your hips up and either leave your feet on the floor or bring them up towards your chest. Either way, arms are back in cactus or T. And let's do an easy twist to the left. If you happen to have blocks close by, it's nice to put them underneath your knees, especially if you have rotational stuff going on. You don't have to do the twist at all. Keeping your shoulder and chest down. This is a really nice action for the whole breast and chest tissue of the right side if you're at your right legs to the left. One more breath, and then bring your legs back up, feet on the floor, and shift your hips over to the left now, feet up or down, and twist over to the right. And just again, for honoring where I am in my body today, using the props, help your body not go as deep. And again, we don't always have to do the hard thing. We can do what's hard, but not all the time. Give ourselves a little break. Take one more breath. And then bring your legs back up. Anchor your feet, bring your hips into the middle, And this time, take the block. I know you have one, so take one and put it between your legs. Feet are lined up and underneath your knees. You're going to roll your shoulders on your back. And let's just do a nice, easy bridge here. Nothing hard. This is the last movement we're doing. So you want to stabilize your body here after all the twisting and all the lunging. Stabilize your bottom. Then stabilize your sacrum. So squeeze the block. Use your toes. Remember those toes in the very beginning? Squeeze the block, use your toes. Can you feel something happening in your lower abdomen when you do that? That's how you can stabilize yourself from the inside out. It pulls everything into place. Keep squeezing the block, keep using your toes. Use your toes, grip the mat like we did in the very beginning. You could even do that with your hands. If you put your palms down, you could grip your fingers like you're doing downward facing dog, and notice the arm action. One more breath. And then exhale, let it go. Take the block away and let your knees fall open. Put your feet together. Supine Baddha Konasana. Adjusting your shoulders so that they're no longer tucked under you. Hands on your belly. Take 3 breaths here. Deliberately bring your breath down into the belly. Deliberately draw the belly in on the exhale. 3 full breaths. And after your 3rd breath, just slide your legs down and move into Shavasana. Please cover yourself up if you're cold. Let your arms open away from your body, legs away from each other so there's fluid, energy. And letting yourself breathe. Breathe into your stillness. Take a deeper breath. And allow yourself to awaken from the inside out. Gently starting to stretch your fingers and your toes. Move your arms and your legs. And when you feel ready, you can bend your knees and roll to a side, making your way up to sitting. And as we did in the beginning, pause in stillness and feel the echoes of the practice. Energy is felt a lot of times with tingling or spaciousness. The body feels stable and at ease. The mind's quiet and calm. You bring your palms together. Thumbs touch your breastbone. Slide your breastbone up slightly. Let the shoulders release and bow the head. In gratitude for our time together on the mat, our deep body wisdom and guiding light. May our light always shine brightly, and may we always see the light in each other. Namaste.